Hi, it's Will from stormthecastle.com, and here on YouTube you know me as Epic Fantasy, that's right. And this is my latest video. This is a tutorial on how to make a skeleton marionette. And this is day 4 of Halloween week, that's right. So this is today's project. I do a video every day for 8 days leading right up to Halloween. And today it's the marionette. Now this marionette's kind of fun. I made it out of clay that you bake in the oven. And I also, it's also got a couple of things on it, and I will show you this in the video, but he can actually bend over to get on all fours, and his head pops off. So, and I will show you a video of that. But this is a fun project, you know. I give you the template, so if you want to make this, you know, the bones and everything, and the size of them, and the shape of them are in the template. You put the template down, and you lay the clay on it, and you shape it to that, so it makes it a lot easier. But this is a fun project. I really like it. You know, I love marionettes. I've done marionettes before. I even have a marionette theater. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching this video. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing to my channel. If you're not a subscriber, hit that button. Always fun and interesting creative projects. Leave me a comment. Give me a thumbs up. Let's launch into the introduction, and then let's do day 4 of Halloween week. How to make a skeleton marionette. Thank you. Dioramas, origami, catapults, and trebuchets, telescopes, terrariums, bonsai trees, and paper games, swords and shields, and real blacksmithing, model boxes, animation. I teach the art of real creation. stormthecastle.com. Let's make something. All right, before we learn how to make this marionette, let's just take a look at it. Now, I'm no marionette expert, but I'll just show you, you know, the head pops off, and then you use the extra bar and strings to make him lean over like this. Now he's going to search around. And a little bit of practice, you can get pretty good at this. I mean, it's an art and a skill. So he looks around for it, finds the head, it pops back on, and he stands back up. Whoops, he sat down, he's tired. So that's how that, watch, here we go. Pop that head back on. Yay. He's happy again, our skeleton is happy. So let's make this marionette. I have a template for you. Makes it a lot easier to make. So print up that template. Now cut yourself some wire. This is 14 gauge wire. You can use 14 or 16 gauge. It isn't too critical. And you make hoops like that that are a little bit longer than the actual bones. And for this you do the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the 8 leg and arm bones. And make them a little bit longer than the bones. I'll show you why, because those are the hooks that are going to attach to each other. Use some kind of a clay that bakes in the oven. And I'm using Sculpey, which is kind of nice. And then form the bones. And you can see how the shapes that you want to do on the drawing. Shows you what each bone is and how to make it. Upper leg, lower leg. And if you want to sculpt it a little bit, like say open it up, because it's a 2-bone set, then you do that with a knife. So go ahead and make all of those. And see how the hoops stick out on the ends? It's perfect. For the feet, you do something like this. And notice how I got the big toe is a little bit longer. See the big toes are on the inside, a little bit longer if you want to do that. Do a similar thing with the hands. So the head, now you don't want to use all Sculpey for that. It would take forever to bake, and it uses a lot of Sculpey. So they recommend you actually crumple up aluminum foil for any big sections. It's actually much better, and it'll keep it lighter. And you poke a wire through it and form the hoops on the top and the bottom of it. See, I've sculpted that to kind of, I've molded that aluminum foil to kind of look like a skull. Makes it easier with the clay. And then form a hoop top and bottom, right, on the crown of the head and under the jaw. Now I'll form it with Sculpey. And you know, this is probably of all the making, the skull is the most fun. You're just going to have fun with this. You know, and if you don't get it right, make another aluminum foil ball and do another one, or try to work it into shape. But you know, skulls are pretty a reasonably simple shape, and you know, with a little bit of effort you can do it nice. See, like mine. See, big eye sockets. They're not eyes, they're eye sockets, so they're a lot bigger. Big teeth, because there's no skin and lips covering it. So there you go. Now the body. This is the most difficult part. Form some kind of a wire pattern like that for both the chest section and the hip section. See how that is? Pause this if you need to look at that, and then fill in both the chest section and the hip section with some aluminum foil.
This actually took me a couple of tries to get it kind of to stay right. So, you know, tinker around with that. And there you go. Shape it the way you want it. So you can just put a thin layer of Sculpey over it. Even do the shoulders and the neck vertebrae. Then have some fun. I'm using a tortilla in there. Or is it tortillon? Or I have a tutorial and I make that tortillon. And then sculpt your clay over it. And for the ribs, do this. Roll out with your fingers, knead out long strings of it, and then put those on. And connect them at the breastbone right in the middle. Looks good. It's kind of fun. Anybody can do this. Don't think you can't do it. And if you can, if you want to, put the spine in the back with the vertebrae. It looks easy to do. Just, you know, a little bit of cutting, a little bit of pressing, and it looks like a vertebrae. See that? Adds a little bit to the back. So that's it. All the pieces are sculpted and made. Looks good. Our skeleton looks good. So let's bake those pieces. Follow the instructions that come with the Sculpey. It's something like, what is it? It's like 350 degrees or 450 degrees and like, you know, like 15 minutes for every 1/4 inch of Sculpey or something like that. It's directions around the box. So what you can do is, you know, you can use a regular oven, you can use a toaster oven. You can't use a microwave. It has to be an actual heating oven because it's the heat. And when the right time is right, you take out the smaller pieces, and I inspected the skull here to see if that was ready, because it's actually quite thin because of all the aluminum foil, so I ended up taking it out. It was ready. It was done nice and hard. And then, but the chest, the rib section, a little bit thicker, particularly the shoulders, so I put that in there for another 30 minutes. And then when that's done, there you go. Some people are afraid of this process. I'm not sure why. You know, you just sculpt up something with Sculpey, and just put it in the oven for whatever the recommended time is, and you're all set. Simple as that. I mean, if you're a kid, get a parent to, you know, supervise you. You don't want to be messing with the oven or any kind of oven without supervision, but it's really quite easy. So now painting it. Paint inside all the stuff other than the ribs on the rib cage section, all of that inside black. It gives the illusion of nothingness. And then the rest of it, the ribs, the pelvis, the shoulder bones, the collarbones, the spine in the back, paint all of that white with a little bit of gray. And experiment. Have the white, paint it mostly white, and then dab some gray in there. Like, look, I'm dabbing gray into the eye sockets. And then I even dab some black in there. That's part of the art of it. You know, you have some fun with it. And you know what? This is your marionette. If you want to paint the whole thing purple, you paint him purple. That would be a great Halloween marionette. The purple marionette, or pink, green, stripes, whatever. There's another little trick. See the gray I'm putting there underneath the nodules of the bone. It's like a shading effect. Kind of looks good. Make it purple. So there you go. It's all painted up. Now we've got to assemble this thing correctly. So how do you do that? You make yourself some rings out of wire. And they don't have to be, you know, super strong rings. Just make yourself some rings out of wire and use that as a coupling to couple together the various pieces, like the foot to the leg bone and the forearm to the upper arm, and like this. You put them on the rings and you close it up. Now, if this Sculpey and clay is too much for you, I do have a tutorial on how to make a marionette using masking tape and newspaper. Very similar. There you go. So put them all together. Now for the shoulder bones, even for the hip bones, if need be, I didn't say it, but I punched holes in those hips so I could put the rings in there and use a larger ring. You're probably going to need a larger ring. So it gives the legs freedom to move around that pelvis. So once you got it all together, don't put the head on, because that's, unless you're doing the simple marionette. But do this to string it up. Make yourself an X of wood, about 2 pieces of wood about 12 to 15 inches, and tape them together like an X. And then hang the marionette somewhere so you can work on it. You want to get the strings all taut. You can't, it's difficult to work on the table. You want to hang that marionette and work on it. All right, for the simple 5-string setup, right here goes to the head. And it's important how these go, otherwise it won't work right. This one goes to the right knee. And this one goes to the left knee. This one goes to the right wrist, and this one goes to the left wrist. Now these need to be right because when you hold this and pick this up, that way the strings don't get crossed. See, this one and this one go to the same side of the marionette. And this one go to the same side of the marionette. Alright, this is the 7-string configuration. This is the one where the head can fall to the ground and then go back up. And he can crouch over into a position where he's looking for his head. So that takes 7 strings. Let me see. The 2 for the head are on a separate rod right here, like that. One goes to the top of the head. One goes to the wire at the bottom of the head, but through the neck hole. The one that operates the back, so he can crouch over, goes through a little sifting point here and is on a ring, and I'll show you that in a close-up how that works. And then just like the regular marionette, right knee, left knee, and on the same side, right wrist and left wrist. So those are the 7 strings. Okay, this shows you how to make the marionette crouch. It's this extra string right here that's on a ring, and it feeds through this little setup here, because what's going to happen is we're going to take this and we're going to pull it and hook it like that on a little hook. So it goes from the standing position like this, or the resting position, to crouching like that, and that's how you make them crouch. So let me show you how this works on the board here. So now this is a side view of the marionette. So when you pull this, see what happens? He will go like this. And lock it. Then that's the crouching position. So he's looking for his head in that position. And then you want him to stand back up straight. You release that, and he comes back down to the standing position like that. Okay, now the falling head configuration. 2 strings. Each one goes to one end of the extra bar. And now one string goes tied to this right here like this, and that feeds through the hoop in the neck. The other string simply goes to the top of the head. Now it's important that in this position, when the head is on the neck, that both strings get taut, which means this one will be that much longer. Taut. And this whole string configuration has to be at least a foot longer than these strings, so the head can fall all the way to the ground or the floor. So let me show you how this works. When you hold the bar up and the head is held in the up position, and you let the bar down with your hand, this will fall out and to the ground like this. Yeah. See, and this is why you need at least an extra foot. You probably saw in my video where I did it that I was just a little short, so you could see my hand operating this one. And then when it's time for the head to pick his head up and come back on, you pull it, and that goes through like that. You pull the strings taut, and the head is back taut like that. That's it. Okay, so that's it. Your marionette is done. If you make this project, make sure you send me a picture or a video. I'd love to see it and put it on my website. Let's take a look at the action one more time. The head pops off. And remember, I do have another marionette project. I will show you and give you a link to that in a second. So this is day 4 of Halloween week. You know, I got 4 more videos coming. Another video every single day right up until Halloween. See, he's roaming around. With a little bit of practice, you can have some fun with this. Like he sits down. You know, it takes a little bit of practice. But this is a 2-handed marionette. You need 2 hands to operate this particular one. And then the head comes back on. See that? I love this project. Thanks. Here's the other projects I was talking about. Up top is how to make a marionette with newspaper and masking tape and even staples. And down below is how to make a marionette theater that actually folds up. You can take it apart and throw it in the car and bring it somewhere, which is something I actually did. Thank you. Bye.